Welcome to Off the Beaten Tracks. Today is another episode of Master LP's Theater. So won't you join myself and Grace Bevan as we sit around the fireplace and discuss Joe Byrd and the Field Hippies and their 1969 release, The American Metaphysical Circus. Try saying that 4 times after you've had 5 of these. This album I found to be all over the place, even for psych.
Yeah, I was having trouble following genre with it, for sure. I wish I knew more about the Field Hippies, to be honest, because I feel like they played a really big part in it, and there was a lot of prominent female vocals that we just don't really know much about. I was trying to do some research on them, and it seemed to mostly just be about Joe Byrd himself.
Yes, most of his stuff was about Joe. I thought there were some pieces. The first piece sounded like an outtake from Blue Jay Way.
Oh my goodness.
And there were songs on this, and there are some really good songs on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there was a feel on a couple of them, especially with the female singers, of early Jefferson Airplane.
I can see why you'd say that. It's definitely got that sort of female-led psych thing going on. I think, though, what Jefferson Airplane had that these guys kind of lack is there was a little more gruffness in the female singers' voices, or even to sort of counterpoint the lighter voices, there was a little more gruffness in those songs. It was very song-dependent, I found, but I almost wanted them to give it a little more, be a little less sweet, take it just a little notch up. That being said, I remember really enjoying Nightmare Train quite a bit, but oh my goodness, this takes you on a whole journey, and I'm not sure where. Like Alice in Wonderland had a solid
there are
plot.
bits on the second side. I'm looking down here. Yeah, I liked "Can't Ever Come Down." I thought was a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
And but as to, well, let's go quickly here to, because on a scale of 10 being best, 0 being Rob Schneider, I thought this went. You can't really give it an overall number, I don't think. I thought some of the stuff was 2, and some of the stuff was 8. I thought there was some great stuff on it, but it's just so, and I guess experimental is that's what you'd expect. It's not just all, pop songs and or whatever, or psych songs. And there's a bit of there was a song in there that also sounded a little bit like the band. It was there was something about, there was a gospel thing, I think, on the first song.
Oh, yeah, once we're starting to get over to the geriatric art festival.
Yeah, there's all these long titles. I mean, if you had to type this stuff out, if you were going to Discogs, there's some very exasperating labels on some of these songs.
Folks, this also has like 3 movements, essentially. They've themed it to 3
as most geriatric people have.
Oh my goodness. So we start with like sub-Sylvian litanies, which I assume they're talking about like otherworldly creatures. But even again, like within these, the themes and the musical genres, song to song change, so they're not, all thematically like sub-Sylvan or sub-Sylvian. And then we go to sort of Southwestern Geriatric Arts and Crafts Festival, right after shortly American Bed Music 1. What is going on here?
I don't know. There's that sing-along one. There's a simple sing-along song in there. It's just, which is like right out of, I don't know, even Harry Nilsson, I'd rather be dead than wet my bed kind of feel to it.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I would give it a 2 to an 8, depending on the particular song. The cover, I think I would give it maybe a 7. It's a very interesting cover, but psych albums, it's got a lot of competition because psych albums were all interesting. What would you give it?
I'm in a very similar boat, actually, I think, on both accounts for this particular one. I like the cover. I find it's a little visually unbalanced because we've got so much going on this side, whereas the other side we just have this sort of indigenous guy looking out into the distance and a woman who appears to be some sort of goddess. And it feels like, normal psych fare. The colors I wish were a little more vivid, though the pastel palette isn't bad. Or even just, there's like a speckling going on, and I almost wish it was just solider colors, for lack of a better word. But yeah, I would say, a 7 for the cover itself, and for some songs, a 2 at best, and the few, like a select few, all the way up to an 8, yeah.
So there you have it for Joe Byrd and this very, very long title, which I'm not going to say. We will be back next week with another episode of Master LP's Theater.
Right? Okay.